beautiful. It's great to see you. I'm just not quite organised here. Still getting myself organised. I wanted to go live outside, but I went out there with my hat on, and it's just too breezy. And I thought, okay, no, I won't do that. So today is Pain Point Wednesday, and what I mean by that is that on Monday, I am supposed to remember to ask you for your questions. And I forgot. Mike, it's great to see you. Yeah, I forgot. So, but I keep my eye out for pain points, and some of you asked me great questions last week. And so I'm going to answer one of last week's questions this week, and I'm really pleased I have it to answer. But before I do, let me first say, if you've got questions, please write them in the comments, because, you know, it's great. It's one thing for me to have to go, what are we talking about? But it's really way better if you ask me questions. And hello, I saw the little hearts. I can't quite remember who that beautiful picture goes with, but it's great to have you on. So we're inside with the rocks, and this is a little piece of rock, I hope I remember right, that came to me from somebody who went to Machu Picchu. So a little piece of Mexican rock. Good morning, Jen, it's lovely to see you. And it just wanted to come on. Now it looks very ordinary, and I cleaned one side of it and left the other side as dusty and everything as it was. It looks like granite. I don't know how well you can see, but it looks like something that's kind of granitic. And that's all I can tell you about it. But it came to me from Mexico. So there you go. Little piece of Mexico here. From Mexico to I don't know where, this is a little amethyst tetrahedron. I got a little set of sacred geometry crystals, and really they're rough as guts, but I'm rather fond of this. You know, it's sort of chevron amethyst or amethyst matrix. It's, you know, agatized amethyst. Nothing flash, but it's very cute, and it said, I'm coming on today, so there you go. And from something small to something larger, this is actually the first crystal I ever actually bought. Back in the days when I was really into shiny and perfect. And I still love this. Excuse me, I got it. As you know, I don't really want to sneeze. So, you know, it's very transparent, and you can see all the little sort of stars, you know, like the galaxy running through it. And it's got this wonderful fracture, which you can see running through it there. No water in it, no rainbow. If there was water in there, there'd be an amazing rainbow. But it's just got all these lovely planes, and, you know, it's polished and no inclusions, it's just pure quartz. And I'm really fond of it. Actually, I lie, it does have inclusion. There's one there. I don't know what that stuff is. Somebody who's good at minerals would know. But there you are. So those are our rocks today, and it's lovely to have you with us. And today's question, how do I stop feeling unpopular? You know, I mean, we all want to be liked. Oh my goodness, don't we want to be liked? And why do we want to be liked? Because as tribal beings, if you're not liked, if you're not popular, if you don't fit in, you're gonna die, right? That's why we want to be popular. It feels good to be liked, to fit in, to, you know, to be part of community, to belong, all of those things sort of come under the same, by association. My temporal lobes put all those things together. Linda, it's lovely to have you on the bridge. Yay! I know it's exciting when you manage to come on live, so I'm delighted to see you. I'm delighted to see everybody. I can see your little faces up there. I don't know who you all are, but welcome, welcome. So I want to talk about this whole thing of feeling unpopular, and what do you do about it? How do you stop that? Oh, hugs. You know, and so in one way, we could say that this is any feeling that you don't want to feel, this applies to. So if feeling unpopular isn't your thing, but feeling angry or feeling sad or feeling, I don't know, depressed or feeling whatever it is, you know, resentful, frustrated, can't do this, defeated, insert your thing here. But today I'm going to talk about being unpopular. So, and I thought, well, and I went sideways into how is it that people feel unpopular to start with? Well, or how do we know that we feel unpopular? And obviously, there is a feeling you have in your body, right? And with that feeling of whatever it is, and it's a physical, visceral feeling, there are thoughts that run around in your head, and they can happen because of something that somebody outside of you does, or just because some random thought goes flying around in your head because of something that you've noticed in your external environment that's made you think of something that's like, oh yeah, and I feel stupid or whatever. That happens a lot to me. Farah, it's great to see you. Maybrid, yay, awesome human being. It's great to see you all. So whatever it is that you suddenly notice, oh my goodness, I'm feeling that, sometimes feeling unpopular can even verge on shame or wanting to disappear into the ground because it just feels so stupid. Crazy amounts of that used to go on in my head, less now. It still comes up from time to time. Something in my environment triggers a memory that I'm not even really aware of, and suddenly I'm thinking, oh God, I feel so, about myself. So all those things sort of come in under this heading. So it happens because a person or something in our environment or a memory, whatever, comes up and we feel that feeling. And it's very human to think, oh, gee, that's awful. Why do I feel that way? And, we want to understand it and make it better. Oh, okay. Well, you're creating this with me, you see, Farah. Who knew that we're creating this together? But we do, and we are. So it's very human and normal and natural to sort of go into the analysis and try to rationalize your way out of it and try to feel better by going, I don't want to feel this, I don't want to feel this. And the thing is that the human brain does not process a negative until it's processed a positive first. And to give you an example, children, and particularly young children, they only really deal in positives. So if a child, and anyone who's a parent will probably have noticed this, if a child is playing with something that you want them not to play with, if you say, don't do that, what happens? Not very much. Give them something else to do, divert all that energy from one to here to the next thing, then, you get their attention off it. I mean, isn't that the art with small kids, says she who's not a parent, but I've watched people do it, distraction. Yeah? So there's this empty, hollow feeling, and we want to make the hollow feeling go away, but then you just keep picking at it and trying to make it go away, and the more you focus on it, the more you say, no, I don't want to feel empty and hollow, or whatever it is, the more you feel it because got your attention on it, right? And that's the thing, oh God, I'm angry and I don't want to feel angry. I don't want to feel angry. And the more you don't want to do it, you're still focusing on the thing you don't want. I'm reminded of something that, and I don't remember the whole thing. It's a limerick, I think, written by a very funny man called Ogden Nash. And my mother said it to me when I was small because she was English, English guy, Ogden Nash from memory. And there's a whole little, and I'm pretty sure it's a limerick. And the punchline is, because I don't remember the rest, look at the donut, not the hole. And, and I was a very negative, focused little person when I was young because I didn't know any better and, didn't know what I know now. Look at the donut, not the hole. And yet we are very focused on the problem and trying to fix the problem. What I now know is that doesn't work for reasons just discussed. What you have to do if you are feeling unpopular, hollow, empty, unloved, unworthy, right? Bottom line feeling for most things is I feel unworthy of anything better. I feel unloved, unvalued, unworthy, right? Oh yeah, whoopee, I feel all that. Thanks for affirming that for me, Maddie. Magic, now it just gets worse. So you have to get your attention off that and onto something else. But what? Oh, but what? You see, the thing of going deep into the feeling, the whole sort of theory of like shadow work, you go deep into your dark places. And I'm not saying by any means that we deny what's going on in us. Absolutely not. But I kind of just have to take a breath and, swim on by when people explain in depth how important it is to go right to the bottom of all of our pain, re-experience it, move through it. I don't subscribe to that. There you go. I've said it. What I find is as I move into becoming the person that I want to be, that stuff goes and I experience it as it leaves and I understand it. But I haven't just reaffirmed it and re-experienced it and fired and wired it and had the chemistry again and made it more me. So, yeah, I'm not denying whatever it is that I need to move through, but I'm not interested in focusing on it to move through it. I want to know where I'm going instead. So, if I want to feel popular, what I really want to feel is like I belong, like I'm loved, and fundamentally like I'm worthy of whatever. So then, what does that feel like? Now, we did this yesterday, trying to drum up a feeling when you've no idea what it's like. And we were talking about the fact that actors get paid to do this. This is what they do. And they summon memories, real or imagined, ideas, concepts of how it is that their character feels, and they move into that state of being. And in their life, they may be having a completely different experience and they can just summon up emotions. And if they can learn that as a skill, we can. Just to make sure that nobody thinks, that this is bullshit. Remember Heath Ledger? Beautiful, talented man who died of an accidental overdose right in the middle of the movie called The Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus. Great movie. He was dealing with horrendous insomnia, all kinds of things going on. His body was clearly very out of balance, couldn't sleep, and I remember reading about it that he'd come to a day's filming and he'd be completely wiped out, and then he'd be all completely wired by the time the thing was over, because that's what happens when your adrenals are completely shot. You're dead in the morning and you wake up at night. And then it does the whole thing again the next day after you can't sleep. But you can't tell that from looking at him on the screen. He's the character. Whatever's going on in that other reality is not who he is. So we as humans are capable of this. Actors trained to do it, but we can do the same thing ourselves. It's not easy. You think it was easy for him? I'm sure it wasn't. But he was a professional, so he just got on and did the job, even though he was feeling like shit, right? So the thing about getting on and doing it, even though you feel like shit, is that it's unfamiliar to you. If you've been feeling empty and hollow and worthless and you've had all the negative emphasized for however long and all of that, that's normal. It's familiar. Your body is really used to that. And it feels really unfamiliar and strange and frankly wrong to even pretend to act that you can feel something else. But like I said yesterday, if somebody said to you, look, I'll give you $1 million if you will just be happy for the next 6 months. Oh, gee, can I act as a happy person for the next, day, never mind the day after that, but, can I act as a happy person one day at a time, independent of my circumstances for the next 6 months if I remember that I'm going to get $1 million for doing it? It puts a whole different spin on it, right? So, can I pretend what it's like to feel worthy, to feel loved, to feel valued? And then you think, well, shit, I don't know what that's like. But if I was an actor, if I was being paid to work out what this was, and a lot of actors have a shitload of trauma and crap in their lives. Think about Robin Williams. God, he had so much difficulty. And he found ways to embody that. So that means we can too. You can look at a movie, you can look at a book, you can look at a picture. There must be a memory somewhere in your banks of maybe not you feeling the way you want to feel, but seeing someone else feel the way you want to feel. Because you wouldn't want to feel that way if you hadn't seen it or experienced it somehow, somewhere. So get digging through your files and start to paste together a collage of how you want to feel and who that person is. And that's where we have to put our energy. If you want to be someone else, you've got to put that energy into being someone else. Because if you felt unpopular and unloved and unworthy for 40 years, that is who you are. Neurologically and biologically, biochemically, hormonally, epigenetically, in every way, that is who you are. That is your identity. The connections in your brain have been doing that for a long time. Your cells are accustomed to the chemistry. It is who you've become. It's your neurological and biochemical identity. So you are going to have to become somebody else. And to do that, you need to have some idea of who that other self is. And that's the challenge, because as soon as you start wanting to imagine that other person and not just thinking about it, but actually starting to move into it independent of everybody else. Oh my God, yes, Lynn, let me talk about that in a minute. It starts to feel really wrong, because it's not who you've been. It is not who you are. It's not who you've been to be able to hold your own space independent of all these other people around you behaving like they do, because they're unconscious, which is really hard. It's very difficult indeed to change the way you feel, but I know that it's possible because I have listened to people talk about the fact that they've done it. And think about your journey, Linda. You first learned to change your state in your own space, and you got really good at that. And now it's like this is year 2 of university, or perhaps it's the masters of learning to change your state independent of those other people. It's a brain exercise, and it's also a heart exercise. The two things go together. Now, this is great. I'm glad you made that comment, Farrah. So this is a great conversation we're having. You've got to have the idea, the thought, the concept, the internal collage, whatever it is. It's like a vision board, but it's of yourself. And it's how you want to feel. That is a clear intention. That is something you can fire and wire and put together and imagine and daydream about, in quiet moments when you're sitting and there is a little peace and quiet, even if it means you're in the bathroom and the door is shut. Just think, oh, feck, who the hell do I want to be today? Oh, yeah. Feeling loved. Well, I don't know what that is like, but I'm just going to say feeling loved in my internal vision, Feeling worthy. What the hell is that? But okay, I feel loved. I feel worthy. I am in peace with myself. Whatever it is, you just fire it and wire it like an automatic program that you don't even feel. Doesn't matter. That is putting some hardware in place in your brain to say, this is who I'm choosing. Now, that's a clear intention. That's an electrical signal out to the universe. The brain makes an electrical field. The heart, when it's in coherence and when there is elevated emotion, which is what you get with a coherent heart, makes a magnetic field which literally draws the experience to you. So you've got to have both. You've got to make an electromagnetic signature. And the elevated emotion is like, oh, feck, you want me to feel love now? When I haven't felt that for however bloody long, however many decades, and my heart slammed shut because there was so much trauma. I totally relate to that. By the way, there wasn't a lot of trauma in my life, but I just slammed my heart shut anyway. Julian, it's great to see you. So this I had to practice. Oh my God, I had to practice elevated emotions like an actor. I had to practice them, and it was hard, and it didn't feel natural, and it didn't feel right, and it didn't work. For a long time, I didn't feel anything. The point is that sooner or later I did, right? So again, it's this big choice. Yesterday, how much do you want? That $1 million? That life that you desire? That every time you start to notice yourself feeling unworthy again, and this is the how-to, right? You need to know who you've been being, and you need to know who you want to be, and you need to have some idea about how that feels, even if you really have no idea, but some imagination, And that gets better with practice. It does, even if you start not having any idea at all. And then the thing is, when you notice yourself thinking or feeling like that unworthy, unloved person, at that point, you start to get aware of the fact, oh my God, I'm thinking that thought again that I've thought for the last 43 and a half years. Since blah happened, I decided that was true, and I feel unworthy, and oh my God, and how easy it is to just go swallowing, being overwhelmed by that feeling again. But hang on a minute, that's not who I want to be. I want to be that instead. And what's that internal picture that I made for myself? And if I was that self that I can't imagine yet, I'd be feeling happy? What? But the fact that you are taking, yanking, dragging, choosing, turning that battleship around, taking your attention off that very habitual, familiar, easy thought that, there's shitty people around me doing shitty things and I don't know how to change my state. I can't do this. That's the thought, that's the feeling, right? It's not the I can't feel worthy sometimes. It's, I don't know how to do this. This is all overwhelming. It's too much for me. But who are you when it's not? How does it feel? Who is the self that can manage, more than manage, that has overcome your circumstances to be who you want to be? And when you find yourself being that person that for however long hasn't known how to do it, doesn't know how to do it, feels disempowered, whatever, can you catch yourself at it and bring back to mind and eventually heart who you want to be instead? In the moment, on your feet, under pressure. It is work. It really is work. To exercise that awareness and to make a different choice. And yeah, when we do get to sit down and take an hour and practice it, it makes it much, much easier, but some of us don't always have that luxury. Oh my God, it is a luxury to do what I get to do every morning. I do not take it for granted. Oh my heavens. But I also know that there are people who all they get to do is moment to moment to moment to moment practice. And it does take time to, because you can only perceive things according to the neural nets you got in your brain, and if the neural nets don't include whatever it is that you need to understand the thing, but you keep poking at it, sooner or later you're going to go, and then you get it. It is totally worth the work to realise how this works and to start to master ourselves enough to do it. So, that's what I wanted to talk about today. It's a great topic. And it's Wednesday, and tomorrow is what I'm going to call Insight Thursday, where I get to tell you about what's growing and happening in me, because, then you just don't get to think that I'm this person that has all this shit together, because I don't. But I do. I have got better at managing the process, and I love that. Yeah, and that's an interesting question, Linda. I'm going to write that down as a something to talk about on another Pain Point Wednesday, Challenge Wednesday, whatever it is. Still don't have a name for this day in the week. So I will see you tomorrow with lots of love. Thank you for joining with me. Until then, bye-bye.